Some football here. Sunday statements. Who needs to make a statement this Sunday? Ryan Clark, I'll start with you.
I'm going to go with Brock Purdy, and not because we don't know enough about Brock Purdy, but here's the time that he can step up for his team when he doesn't have the perfect situation around him. No Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel banged up, George Kittle missing practice yesterday. This will be his chance against the Rams to show that he doesn't need everyone around him to lift him up, that he can lift up the people that need him most.
Yeah, that team has been decimated here early. Mike T, who needs a statement?
Derrick Henry, early and often. Last week, Reed, he had 79 of his 84 yards in the second half. Dallas gives up the most rushing touchdowns, 5. Get Lamar Jackson under center. They've only been under center about 18% of the time. Get under center, give Derrick Henry the ball in the first half, and exploit this porous Dallas run defense. That's how Baltimore has a chance to get back on track.
We're going to dive deep on that game in just a few minutes here. Graz, who needs to make a statement Sunday?
Jared Goff. The Lions are believed to be a Super Bowl contender. They're 1-1. Jared Goff hasn't played well. He's 25th in the league in QBR.
What?
Just behind Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. Jared Goff has to be better than that if the Lions are going to be as good as they want to be. This
wait a
is
minute.
Arizona defense.
Jared Goff and Daniel Jones in the same sentence?
Bart, who needs to make a statement this Sunday?
Well, Greeny, attitude reflects leadership, and the unquestioned leader on the Philadelphia Eagles team now is Jalen Hurts. I'm not blaming him for last week's loss, but he has to be the difference in games where the other quarterback on the sideline is ranked probably lower than you and Derek Carr. He's going to have to be the difference. No Jason Kelsey, no Fletcher Cox. He has to make sure that he can lead them and navigate them through tough waters, unlike last year when they collapsed.
Well, so let's dive into that. And we started it earlier in the show this morning, and we ran out of time. So now we have a moment to get into it. RC, you were there on Monday night for what was a horrible loss. That's a terrible game to lose.
Terrible loss for you Eagle fans.
And the time for talking about whether they made the right play call, wrong play call, that's all over with. Here's what I do know. As at RC, we all spent all offseason talking about how will the Eagles handle adversity. With all the stuff that happened to them in the second half of last season, how will they well, they've hit adversity. So what is your sense of how they get through it? What is your sense of what is at stake for them this week?
And not only have they hit adversity, they're playing a team that seems to understand their identity more than any other team in the entire NFL right now in the New Orleans Saints. I think this is going to be a gut check week for the Philadelphia Eagles. How do you show up to the stadium? What sort of energy and attitude does this team have? And if they do get down, if they give up a big play on defense, who will be that guy now that Fletcher Cox is going to step up and make a play? Will Bryce Huff finally have a showing in this game? Is C.J. Gardner-Johnson going to be that emotional leader on the back end? And can Jalen Hurts elevate this offense enough that if he's not getting what he needs from his defense, they can still find a way to win? This won't make or break the Philadelphia Eagles season if they go out and approach it the right way. But that remains to be seen, because what we saw after that 10-1 start last year was absolutely unacceptable.
And it seems to have carried over.
There, right? Jalen Hurts taking sort of control. Questions about the head coach and all of that in the wake of last year.
And Kellen Moore.
I mean, that's what I was trying to allude to earlier. You talk about losing those leadership, so now you're the guy that people come to and lean to when things get tough. And Jalen Hurts has to make sure that he's able to elevate and be a force multiplier with the people around him, because I don't know how much these guys believe in what they're being told from an offensive and defensive side of the football. They're learning two systems. So now you got to have somebody that can keep everybody together. He has to be the voice, but he has to continue to do it with his play, but he has to be able to inspire guys as well.
Bart, I got to push back on that. They're a Saquon Barkley drop away from being 2-0 with two new coordinators. That's good coaching.
But we're here. We're here already. But what
they
I'm
did.
Is,
you are what your record says you are.
Maybe you can get 2 losses. No matter how you got there, you can get 2 losses back-to-back. And we saw this team not handle adversity well last year. We talked about the relationship between the head coach and the quarterback. We got to keep everybody pulling the rope the same direction, because we know what happens. You can have fractured locker rooms and people start talking, and that seems to be what happened last year when they fell apart.
I really think the problem's on the other side of the ball.
It is.
It's a team that
he's responsible for that too.
No, absolutely. But you bring in Vic Fangio, making one of the highest-paid defensive coordinators, has all this experience. Like, that's to me
and
where
the defense is ass.
What Jalen Hurts is doing. Again, they did everything within reason to win that game, and then Atlanta goes down in 5 plays, 90 yards to win it. Like, that to me is where the problem is.
And by the way, Dan, against a struggling defense like the Eagles have, you saw up close and personal what that Saints offense might just do.
That's the thing. Like, I don't think the fact that the Eagles are 1-1 or suffered a tough loss is because of some systemic problem in their locker room, right? Like, I think their locker room's okay. Most teams are kind of like the Eagles right now, right? They're still kind of feeling their way into the season, figuring out what they want to. I mean, you know, ineligible man downfield penalties. I mean, stuff they need to clean up and likely will. Unfortunately for the Eagles, they have to go on the road and play one of the teams that is humming, like is already in mid-season form, not dipping its toe into the season. Like the Saints are locked in right now. So I think the Eagles could lose this game. Absolutely. I don't think the important thing for the Eagles is whether they win or lose. I think it's how they look and how they feel. I mean, RC was absolutely right. Like, what are they like getting off the bus? Like, how prepared are they for the game? They could play great and get beaten on Sunday.
Let's put the picks up on the screen so we see what
everybody thinks.
Will they find a way to bounce back?
Oh,
clean sweep.
nobody is picking
it.
Nobody.
The Saints are just so dang good. When you watch the way Clint Kubiak has this offense humming, it is like it's almost like watching 2 different offenses based on what they want to do to you. If they want to come out and punch you in the mouth and hand the ball to Alvin Kamara,
I'm going to leave that right there. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know it literally does not work. Stephen R., who's your team, Stephen R.? Stephen R., who the hell is your team? Michael Irvin said the Cowboys are on the verge of losing the America's team title. See, you know what? See, that's where you're stupid, man. I'm sorry. You're just plain stupid. You know, that's like saying that the Steelers going to lose the Steel Curtain identity. They ain't been the Steel Curtain defense in a long time. But it was a nickname, bro. It was a nickname. It wasn't like there was a contest out there that said, hey, poll out here, who is America's team? It was a writer who said America's team. And it just kind of stuck. So come on, man. Let's be real here. Listen, that whole title is not going to fit anybody else, okay? Maybe the shine is off of it, but they're not going to lose that title. They're always going to be that. There may be something that's bigger or better that comes down the pipe, but come on, man. Let's be real. Hey, it's just seriously. And here's another thing, people. I've been trying to tell you guys this shit, and nobody listens. We all panic after 1 week, 2 weeks. Do we really believe that the Detroit Lions are that bad? Do we really believe that the San Francisco 49ers are that bad? Do we really believe that the Eagles and the Cowboys are that bad? Do we really believe that the Seattle Seahawks and the Minnesota Vikings are that good? Do we believe that? Because I got to tell you, you really don't know. I remember the Arizona Cardinals coming out 4-0, and everybody was already talking about, they is a Super Bowl team, man. They headed to the Super Bowl. And then proceeded not to win another freaking game. Not another one. Zero, zilch, zingo. They ended up 4-12. 4-12. So relax a little bit, and let's see what we're going to see. Okay? Everybody wants to go ahead 1 week to the next week, not realizing that the NFL is a week-to-week league. There's not a lot of difference between the best and the worst. There just isn't. And a lot of times, it's going to be based on who's injured and who's not. So take it easy. Now, there are some teams that do have some fatal flaws, and we'll get to that in a second. Let me say hello to all the good people I see. Asman here, Pinks or Internet. How about neither on that? Glimmerman's in the house, Twiz Digger's in the house, Jordan's in the house, Mike Aldana. I know we got Lady Libra. I know I saw Lady Libra in the house. What's up, lady? I know I saw, I think I saw, let's see, who else did I see? Regina Green. What's up, Regina? Shout out to Ginger Rogers. Ginger, what time in the what time at night do you pop your videos on? Shout out to Ginger, who's giving us the report on her fantasy football and stuff. I think you're up to 3 videos now. I've been watching you, girl. I've been watching you. Jeff Lee's in the house. Derek Young's in the house. Eric Willis. Twiz Digga. Saints getting pumped up like Green Bay. They beat the Panthers and Cowboys, and now they're world beaters. All right, Twiz. We'll see. We'll see what we're going to see. But, Twiz, I have to tell you, buddy, you need to worry about that defense, man. That defense is not, I'm sorry. Not that my defense is good. We're giving up 4.9 yards per play on the ground, which is not good. I believe you guys are giving like 6.2. Bro, getting runs on your defense are like getting runs on a $5 hoe. I'm sorry. They just run and run. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. That was not politically correct. Forgive me. That was not a good statement there, but you understand what I'm saying. It's pretty easy to run on that Eagles defense and to pass on them. Bro, using trouble. Roland's review. What's up, Roland? What's up, Stacy? Let's see. Jeff Lee, Derek Young, Eric Willis. Dem Boys Kicks. Dem Boys, I'm back here this week. We're going to have a crab cake sub. Crab cake along with the Jobu wings. And we're going to get the supersized glizzies. We need extra power. To get Dak down for 3 picks. You know what, Steve? Steve R., I don't know. Who's your team, Steve? The more I look here and see this stuff, the more I'm not enjoying you in my chat right now. Because here's where I hate to say that you're just plain stupid, but Stephen R., you're just plain stupid. Dak Prescott, if you go in the history of the NFL, is one of the least intercepted quarterbacks in the history of football. He had 1 year that he had 15 interceptions after he broke his freaking thumb. Now, you could say Carson Wentz was a turnover machine. You could say Jalen Hurts, who has more turnovers than anybody else since the beginning of last year with 25. You can say that about Jalen Hurts. But to turn around and say, I'm going to put him down for 3 interceptions on Baltimore's defense, I don't think Baltimore has anybody that can control CeeDee Lamb. Their defense is not any good either. They're not. So please, Stephen R., don't be that guy. Don't be that guy who comes in and makes blanket statements and looks like a freaking idiot. Okay, just don't do that. Because if you are, I hate to have to do this kind of shit to you. I just hate to do it.
Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
So here's the thing. For everybody out there killing the Cowboys. Yeah, we got our ass kicked. We believed the hype and everything else and everything. You know, we're sitting here with a new defensive coordinator with different players that are starting, young guys, and we're still feeling our ways out. The same way all the teams are feeling themselves out right now, okay? You Eagle fans, you just keep constantly feeling yourself. Mark Holmes really feeling himself tonight, like this team didn't just get rolled up. Oh, we did. Philly, we did. But you know what the great thing is, though, Philly? Philadelphia Eagles Mafia, okay? Because we're trying to run a business here, okay? All right? You know what's actually kind of cool is I don't see at the moment, I could be Sheila Neal. Oh, Sheila, what's up? I don't see anybody out there that you say, oh my God, look at those guys. Look at them. They are so good, except maybe New Orleans. New Orleans right now, you have to say at the moment, look like the cream of the crop. And I sent a message to John Ridgway and I said, please mollywop the Eagles. Please do to the Eagles what y'all did to us. Please. Okay, I want to see pain with the Eagles. I want to see them suffer. Okay. Yes, we got beat, but guess what? So did the Eagles. So did the Lions. And Jared Goff. I didn't even realize how bad Jared Goff is playing. When you start putting your quarterback up there talking about him and Daniel Jones in the same sentence, that ain't good, bro. That ain't good. Maybe the Lions had that great season that maybe the Lions are that team that comes back down to earth and isn't a playoff team. Maybe the Eagles are one of those teams that was a playoff team last year and came back down there. Because I see things with the Eagles, for all you Eagle trolls, I'm glad to see that you guys have finally woken up and are coming back. Because I ain't seen you much since Monday night. You cockroach mother humpers. Maybe you guys have some flaws and some issues with the coach. Now, I'm going to say with the Cowboys, there's a disconnect between what Jerry Jones says and his reality. Jerry Jones says, what are you talking about? Problem with the running game? Our running game, we don't see a problem here. Well, what about Dalvin Cook? Are you going to activate him? Well, I don't see that being necessary because, Zeke Elliott, Zeke and crew running back by committee, we got it good with Jerry. Sorry, man. You really don't seem to quite know what's going on. The Cowboys running game right now is one of the worst in the NFL. And you screwed the pooch. By trading for Trey Lance. Let's be honest with ourselves. I was in the car with my wife taking her to the store because her car's down at the red brick house and things. So we ran errands together, and while she's going in the store and doing stuff, I'm shooting some videos because that's what I do, because you got to make the most of every moment you have. And keeping up with the Dallas Cowboys, there's always a whole lot of shit. But the thing my wife always says is, it's not about you effing up. Because listen, she'll tell you, you're a man, you're going to F up. But you make it worse when you don't admit your mistakes. As she puts it, own your shit. Okay, the Cowboys, you swung for the fences thinking that maybe we can get Trey Lance on the cheap and we'll be able to replace Dak Prescott and we'll be good. And you found out that didn't work. And you realize that you could have had a great running back with the pick that you had. You screwed the pooch on that. Bringing back Zeke, thinking that Zeke's going to be able to carry the load. Well, that's not going to be quite it. You keep denying and keep lying to us, or you're just plain stupid and don't realize what's going on around you. Your running game is not good enough. And your philosophy, Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones, in saying that, well, we're going to pay CeeDee Lamb, so now we expect him to do the work of two guys. And it's not just CeeDee Lamb. That's been their whole thing. When I pay for it, I expect to get more production. Here's the reality. The production that you got last year out of CeeDee Lamb, 135 receptions, over 1,700 yards, number 2 in the NFL total, is about the ceiling of what you can expect from him. It doesn't matter how much more you pay him. You're not going to then get 2,500 yards in receptions. And it's a fallacy to say, well, he's got to get more touches. What, are you trying to burn him out? You're trying to destroy him. We saw that with Tony Pollard when you decide to move on from Zeke, and it's like, okay, first couple of games, Tony Pollard had more touches than anybody else, and then he was ruined the rest of the season and didn't do jack for you. You made a mistake. Now fix it. Own your shit. Kiana Gibson in the house. What's up, Kiana? Marcus Blackman, Brock Tutty. He played better versus Atlanta versus Green Bay. That's progression. You're wrong, Twiz. Is Zeke is unproductive for 2 weeks, then Dalvin Cook should be activated. Stephen R., yes. Quite frankly, I would say I would activate him actually now because he's getting work and things like that, even if I only use him for 5 or 10 plays. You can't tell me if he is not at this point at least as good as the guys you have out there, then you don't need him on your roster. You don't need, if he can't produce more than what we're getting, because we're pretty bad. We're averaging 3.7 yards a carry with our defense. Jordan, what's up, Jordan? Our first new member of the night. Appreciate it, Jordan. And we'll get you down for our drawings that we'll do starting tomorrow. I think tomorrow we're going to be giving away Game Time. We've got the assassin plaques and shirts and stuff we're doing, and I've got a bunch of like Hall of Famers, like over here Emmitt Smith that's autographed, and I think I've got Charles Haley over there and some different ones. So appreciate that. Anybody that does a super chat or becomes a channel member, and as well, also Jordan, go to the community tab. In there is a link in there for channel members. Walker Wade in the house. There's a link in there to get you to our website so that way we can get you your shot glass. And we have new squeeze apparatuses. They're actually a star that we'll be sending out and stuff. Walker Wade, where's the running backs that played every down like the past? There are very few of them. David Wiley. David, we are here, and we're doing a crab cake sub, buddy. Shout out to David Wiley. Hopefully the reason the Cowboys got beat so bad, I'm going to take it. I'm going to say it's my fault. I'm going to honestly say it was my fault. Mark Holmes, big stop. Twiz is a clown. Nah, Twiz is cool people. You know what? See, here, hold on. Mark Holmes, big stop. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I got to say, Lovely Linda, Twiz Digga, Bird Section, Philadelphia, and Philly 500 are true green fans. That they did the walk of shame. They did the walk of shame after they lost. They showed up. They may not have been happy about it, but they showed up, unlike some of those other cockroaches. Oh, it's gonna be good, Sheila. Oh yeah, we're gonna get some lump crab meat and stuff to make our Krabby Patties, make the remoulade sauce with the lettuce, the tomatoes, the thin sliced red onions, and we're gonna grill the sub on there. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be good. People can criticize everyone but Hurts. Oh, but Hurts. Ooh. Twiz, I'm gonna ask you, is Big Bry Guy 75 want to send that gift, Mark? I need your mailing address. Bry Guy, email me again tonight so that way I can send it to you, buddy. I'm sorry, I am way behind on emails. It's been kind of crazy and stuff. That sounds amazing. Ginger Rogers, the Cowboys sideline report. Hey, Mark, I wish I could join in with you. Have a few topics I think we could hash out. Cowboys sideline report. You can email me and we can talk about doing something together. Mark, we have no running game. Teams don't need to stack the box. Well, here's my solution on that, David. Here's actually my thinking. As bad as last week was, we actually got something that was good out of that game. I don't know if it registered with anybody else, but Schoonmaker, our number 2 draft pick, ended up being 6 out of 6 passes for, I think, 46 yards and stuff. The wordologist, Aikman had the slant to Irvin. Romo had the back shoulder fade to Dez. Does he have a signature throw to Lamb? The wordologist, I don't think that we do have a signature one just yet. I don't think we do. Give it time. That's a very good point on that. What I'll say on that is we actually, here's our problem right now. The wordologist, I will say, is when you went into last week, if you were New Orleans, what you said was CeeDee Lamb is not going to be the guy to beat us. Basically, you got CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of guys. Zeke Elliott, he's going to pick up a few yards, but he's not going to the house. Jalen Tolbert, nice receiver, but not really good. Brandon Cooks, you can see that he seems to have lost a little bit. I still question why he ended up leaving training camp a week before everybody else and was in Dallas. They didn't say why. We don't know if there's an injury or something that's going on or what, but he's been kind of nicked up, and you're looking at it and saying, thus far, we haven't seen a whole lot. Everything is going through CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is getting the lion's share of the targets. Now, if Jake Ferguson is really healthy and can make some moves and stuff, that'll help because that's the Cowboys' second best target. We were missing that last week. But last week, no, there wasn't a yard. But the 70s fans, there was no yards after contact with nobody last week. We didn't bust a grape last week. But here's my thing on it with Schoonmaker and our problems with our running game. We all know I am a 12 personnel kind of guy. 12 personnel. And I don't look at it and say, we've got, 3 or 4 great wide receivers that, we need to have on the field. I honestly don't see that at the moment. Yeah, Jalen Brooks, he's still very young, so I'm not ready to say he's trash just yet. But here's my thing. Schoonmaker, at least he can catch. At least he can catch. If he can block, great. Jake Ferguson is the more playmaker. Use 12 personnel. And if it ends up being that the teams still aren't worried about your running game, I'll take 7 blockers. I'll take 7 blockers going on a regular defense and just try and run the football. Give me 2 extra guys there in the running game will help the running game. And you run at them until they can stop it. If they try and stop it, putting 8 men, 7, 8 men in the box, hey, these 2 guys can catch. If I end up having, Deuce or Rico in the backfield, I can go ahead and motion them out, have an empty backfield, and basically have 5 receivers. This will be a way to try and get yourselves an advantage. And it's key if Schoonmaker can become a legitimate tight end who can catch. Now, Brent Spann, he's about ready for his debut as well. He's finally healthy and so on. Sounds like a broken record. Cowboys offense started slow last year. They will be fine because Dak is the quarterback. Jay Recruiter, I agree with you 100%. But the difference was last year our defense was holding down the fort until the offense got together. Last week, the defense, the wheels fell off of it. 49ers life, did anyone say that? Twiz, how you feeling about being on the road versus the Saints? Dirty Sanchez. YouTube, Jay Capilot. Jalen definitely needs to play better, but saying he sucks is just wrong. He just needs to be more comfortable in the new offense and make more reads. Jay Capilot, here's the thing that I'm going to say that I think that him and Kellen Moore are like water and oil. I'm not sure the two of them mix well together. Jalen Hurts does not look comfortable in that offense. And we know Kellen Moore wants to be that guy that throws the ball with the combination routes and everything else. All I'm going to say, NFL will not allow the Ravens to go 0-3. Read between those lines. Telling us it's raining while pissing on our boot. David Cowboy, waiting 5 months to pay Dak Prescott and couldn't sign anyone. Well, for everybody out there who thinks that the Cowboys, by signing Dak Prescott, that prevented them from signing anybody else, don't understand the Cowboys. The Cowboys weren't going to sign anybody else. They're doing exactly what they do. In Jerry Jones's mind, there is no problem with the talent that they put on the field. That the running game is just fine. It's good. Now here is Emmitt Smith, who's going to give you the all-time leading rusher's perspective on the Cowboys running the football. And let's listen to this.
Or focus on it.
Of course, Emmett, we can't talk to you without diving into some of the struggles of the Cowboys. And I know we've got a lot to chat about, but it's only week 3. So in your honest opinion, do you think Cowboys fans have the right to be worried right now?
I think they do. And I think Cowboys fans are oftentimes misguided.
We're misguided.
Because they look at the Cowboys from an emotional lens standpoint.
You think?
I, as a former player and then as a former athlete, I look at things for the quality of play and the quality of the competition. Now, here's why I say that. I think the Cowboys got caught up going up against the Cleveland Browns. The fans did anyway, and saw the dominant performance that we gave. But they never once took the time to take a step back and ask the question, who do we play and what do they have to offer us that would give me the ability to feel and believe that our team is going to go to the Super Bowl this year. The thing that
Super Bowl
that misleads us is, one, we played a very good Cleveland Brown defensive unit.
Very good.
And a defensive front, which is awesome to play against. And our offense did a very good job in the first half, running the football and throwing the football and mixing up plays and everything else, keeping the Cleveland Brown defense off guard. On the offensive side of the Cleveland Browns, they were garbage. They could not produce anything, couldn't run the rock, couldn't throw the rock, and our defense looked very dominant, which they should have against that offense. But when you move to week 2 and you go up against the New Orleans Saints, it's a complete different thing. And so, but not having the knowledge of being able to analyze the game from that perspective, have you misguided in terms of what you should be expecting from your Cowboys team? Now, the Saints came in and ran the rock down our throat, which says our run game is pretty poor, but Cleveland was poor offensively. So we didn't get a chance to see how poor our run defense really looked like. They came in, they threw the deep bomb, they hit the ball down the field big time. So we couldn't get a rush on the quarterback. So the quarterback had plenty of time to throw the rock. The best thing that we got going for us right now is our special teams. And that's kicking field from anywhere on the football field. Offensively, we got to get it together. And we got to be able to run the rock as well as throw the ball. Now, we've shown that we can run the ball, and we need to stick to that. But our defense got some work to do, and Mike Zimmer is going to get those guys together because he's a man of pride, he's a man of skill, and we just got to continue to just take this one on the chair, but know that we got to play better this week.
Talking a little bit about depth, I don't think it's a huge surprise that it seems like Dak continues to struggle with explosive chunks of plays, and I think a lot of people are wondering if that's a talent issue when it comes to the wide receiver position. After CeeDee Lamb, it's just, Jake Ferguson when he's healthy, which is kind of a big drop-off. So do you think they need more help at wide receiver?
Most definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. No disrespect to Brandon Cook. No disrespect to
Jalen Tolbert.
I'm drawing a blank on the other
Jalen
wide
Brooks.
receiver.
You can't even remember the names.
Tolbert.
Yeah.
There's no disrespect to none of them, but somebody needs to emerge because it's easier to contain CD just through zones and everything else and limit his throws down the field. So someone else has to emerge as that legit go-to threat outside of CeeDee Lamb. And with Ferguson out, it's making it very tough. And so from a balance standpoint, we're limited. And what I saw in the first half of the Cleveland Browns game, we had a complete offensive scheme that showcased a lot of different formations, a lot of different movements. Eye discipline had to be there for the defense, which also helped in the running game. In the second half of that Cleveland Brown game, I saw a sputter, which also raised concerns for me in terms of not being able to get back in the rhythm. That's either through play calling or that's even through play of the players. And so that is a problem. We cannot afford to have a lull in the middle of the game or even come in not ready to play. Because when we do that, you see things that you just saw this past Sunday. And so for me, it's about preparation. It's about our team being physically fit, mentally fit, and emotionally fit to go and compete at the highest level that we expect them to compete at.
I'm going to leave it right there and say hello. I'm burning for you. Ms. Lola's in the house, Ms. Hot Sauce. Here's the thing that I'm going to put out there. We had such an emotional lift going into Cleveland because we had the whole Dak Prescott contract, whether you're a Dak Prescott fan or not. What that actually signaled was, here's the thing, if you're a player who's not Dak Prescott or, Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb, and you look and you see the Cowboys, screwing over with Dak Prescott and say that if that guy is not necessarily going to be here, what does that mean for me? I think the Cowboys got a big emotional lift going into that game because they did get Dak Prescott signed. Everybody's like, okay, all right, we actually have a plan here. We're not blowing this thing up. Maybe, the future is a little bit better than what it looked like before. And that's what carried them the first half of the Cleveland Brown game. And that, I think, wore off after the half of the game. You got to, lead to begin the game with, and it looked like, that Cleveland, was just dead in the water. And you just kind of coasted through there. A lot of times you have a great game, everybody all of a sudden is now talking about Super Bowl, the Cowboys, their defense is legit, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, the offense, everybody's showing all this love, and you get this big head. Everybody's picking you then going against New Orleans. And New Orleans, you know what? Like everybody knows if I kick the Cowboys' teeth in, that's going to make me so much bigger. Everybody's going to talk about us. And that's exactly what happened. You cannot, as a Dallas Cowboys player, relax on anybody or take anybody for granted, including the Giants on Thursday night. You have to show up and play every single play like your life depends on it, because that's the way people are going to come at you. I think the Cowboys, mental lapse. And it's still early. Linda, what's going on, Linda? How are you doing? And played the rest of the game with one arm. But we do have some fatal flaws. Let's be clear here. And I hope that what we hear from Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, we're not making any trades. We're good, this, that, and the other. The reality is, Emmitt Smith pointed out the same thing I did. You need another playmaker. You need another playmaker to take some of the attention off of CD. You can't just look at it and say, we paid him a boatload of money, so now he's going to produce more. He's already about as high up as production as you're going to be able to get on a receiver. He maybe he gets to 2,000 yards, but that's still only another 250 yards of production, which would be an NFL record. So the Cowboys, this whole philosophy of saying, we believe in our guys and our guys alone, and that's got to be enough. Guys, when you look back at Troy Aikman didn't just have Michael Irvin. He had the best running back in football. He had one of the best offensive lines in football. He had a playmaker in an Alvin Harper. He ended up having a security blanket in Jay Novacek. He had an all-world fullback in Moose Johnson. We ain't got any of that. Bill Belichick will be the next head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not sure. The thing is, though, Marcus Blackman, that sounds great, but I'm not sure that that's the solution. The game at some point passes you by. It passed Joe Gibbs by. It passed Tom Landry by. It passed Don Shula by. Are we going to just assume that it hasn't passed Bill Belichick by? The first 4 games are when the team is working out the kinks of playing together in its preseason. I agree with you on that one, Big Gibson. I keep telling everybody, don't get too excited and too upset by what you see in the month of September. If we can find a way to beat Baltimore, and to be quite honest with you, the fact that everybody's picking Baltimore makes me feel a little bit better. Tolbert is okay. Don't love him, but get rid of Cooper to draft the kid from South Alabama in 22. Okay. Silent report, we may be watching the game slip Zimmer by as well. No, you need a run game. But here's the problem with the Cowboys is we still don't have the defensive line together just yet. And this is another area where it's crazy to me that the Cowboys constantly look for their free agents at the end of training camp and figure we can just bring a guy in, plug him in, and he's going to be, a great player. And that's Jordan Phillips. You brought in Jordan Phillips. We signed him, I believe, right when we were about to play the Rams in preseason. Tiara, how are you doing tonight? Lamar ain't going 0-3. Well, we'll find out on Sunday. But I don't know that 0-3, now that there's 17 games, it's such a long season, that there's not enough time to turn it back around. And you look at it, you can understand, and this is where there's some 0-2 teams, and then there's some 0-2 teams. Baltimore losing to Kansas City, not necessarily a surprise. Losing to the Raiders, that was kind of a surprise. You looked at how Max Crosby ended up being able to just literally just live in the backfield. And their secondary for Baltimore, that defense of Baltimore, which is something that's always been really, really good, is not that good. Wild boy Trey, they said Amari Cooper could be on the trading block. If Cleveland continues down, well, there's a couple of teams that you have to look at. And I guess the Raiders getting the win right there maybe changes that a little bit of going against Baltimore. But Devontae Adams, a guy who's high-priced talent, who, of course, wants to get more money as well, he may be on the trading block. And definitely Amari Cooper. They were pretty close to trying to do something with Amari Cooper before the season started. They didn't want to give him an extension. So, yeah, that's a guy who could be out there. Bro, it's more like 48 hours. Jesus Christ, where did you get your watch? China? Tony Boo. Shout out to Tony Boo. Appreciate the super chat. Jerry Jones will address the nose tackle. We need to stop the run like we need a safety for years. Jerry Jones looked the other way. Now, do they do it with the D tackle one or nose tackle? Get a nose tackle, use Parsons to play the ball. That's where it's the two places. The two spots we had problems with last year, stopping the run and running the football. And we didn't do much to address that. Oh, I'd much rather have Devontae Adams, too. When you look at those catches he's making, like on the sidelines and things, he's an absolute positive beast. And I think you'd get more wear and tear out of him than you would from Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is getting a little bit older in there. Carlos Watkins, yeah, he did play. His best year, I want to say that he's had as a pro was 21 or 22 for us. And I think he had about 22 tackles and a couple of sacks in there. So, yeah, he could end up being pretty good. That was meant for Brock, but it came out bro. Tony Boo. Well, here's my thing. You've got him right now. The one thing you could look at with Trey Lance was, honestly, okay, that last game he had 3 interceptions, which was terrible. I get that. I'm not trying to say let's go ahead and do like Tom Landry did back with Craig Morton and Roger Staubach and alternate series, okay, which was a complete disaster. But what I'm saying is maybe you create a package or two where you use some plays and have Trey Lance where he's using his legs. More than likely, you're not going to re-sign him. If he ends up getting hurt, I'm not wishing him to get hurt or anything like that. But if you end up doing a couple of running plays with him having the dynamic running ability, and if you end up getting positions where, let's say you've got him going on the outside, and it's basically a pick, run-pass option. And if they come up and get him, there's going to be somebody that's open. And it may even be going back to Dak Prescott. What I'm saying is you've got to do something to manufacture better running ability. You've got to find somebody else that's going to be another playmaker. Jerry Jones isn't going to go out and get anybody else. So you got to look at the bench and say, who is going to be that guy that I can use? And we do know he can run, and we know he can pass some too. Not saying let's use Trey Lance 20. No. Surprise some people. Come out there and have Trey Lance in the backfield. Boom. Trey Lance got some burners on him. That's what I'm saying. Do something different, Be a little creative. Yeah, Amari Cooper definitely looked like he wanted to leave Cleveland with Dallas after they whooped his ass. Yeah. Use Trey Lance's legs. That's my point. It couldn't be any worse than some of the running plays that we've had thus far. Henry, 300 yards. Maybe, this is where you got to say maybe it is a revenge factor. But majority of the yards that Derrick Henry got were all in the second half last week. Trey Lance in a Wildcat formations. Brock, you don't want to get into a battle with wits with me. You're unarmed. Yeah, you don't want to mess with dirty. You will definitely get dirty. That's why I'm saying positive vibes all the time. Already had her. Trade Lance for Amari. Okay. Regina Green, I would love that, but that ain't going to happen. If we got Amari Cooper back, nobody would stop us. Yeah, but the question would be here's the one problem for the Cowboys. You got the Baltimore Ravens blowing the Cowboys out 44-20. Derrick Henry is doing all that. The problem for the Cowboys is when they trade for somebody, nobody wants to trade for them cheap. They always end up overpaying. And when they trade somebody, how crazy would it be if the Cowboys traded for Amari Cooper? You traded a 5th-round draft pick for him. Do you think that Cleveland Browns are going to trade him back to you for a 5th? Do you think that's going to happen? If Lamar has to use his arm, the Ravens are in trouble. Well, my thing is the Cowboys need to make this a track meet. The Cowboys need to score and score a lot. The Ravens secondary is torchable, and that's where this should be I agree with you. Their secondary is terrible. I don't think that they can cover CeeDee Lamb, and this should be a big, big game. I'd give up a second for Amari. And it's going to take at least a second. They probably want a second or third for Coop. Mark, the problem we have is no running game, and that's why I'm saying use Trey Lance in there in a couple of packages. Get him out there and give some different looks. Now, you remember here, I'm not going to get banned frying up Dirty Saints fans. Brock Turdy, you're a member here. I'm not going to get banned frying up your Dirty Saints fans. Okay, Brock Turdy, okay. I don't understand that one. The Browns need a quarterback. Dak is going to have a big game. He should against that Ravens defense. Ain't nobody concerned or worried about the Ravens. Amari Cooper was, when he was with the Dallas, he was cold, but some games he didn't show up. That's the problem on him. It was late in the season that he didn't. Brandon Cooks is going to have a good game. If the Cowboys miss the playoffs, I think McCarthy is gone. I think that that's probably definitely true. Everybody fleeces the Cowboys on talent they don't want. That's very true. Oh, I see. I thought you ghosted the family. So, Eagle fans, how are you guys feeling while we're in here? You're in here commenting about the Cowboys. Are you guys feeling confident about going against New Orleans? Dak needs to use his legs more. Told you he's unarmed and had wisdom teeth pulled at a young age. He has no wisdom. I'm trying to understand this conversation. I think Dallas is 1-5 against Baltimore. Bad matchup. No, actually, I think the Cowboys are worse than that. You're right on the one, but I think they have a few more losses than that. But Dak Prescott, after losses, is like 28-4, I think. So that bodes well, and the Cowboys are at home. Cowboys will win. Zeke. It's a wrap for y'all. Big Spank Dog. Okay. No D-line. I'm not going to say there's no D-line. I'm going to say we didn't show up. We got beat down. And it's a little early to make any, blanket statements on what the season's going to look like. And, I know you got to win, Big Spank Dog, over the Giants, and you're feeling pretty good right now. Beating the Giants, even though they had a chance. I know you're feeling pretty good. Let's see what you do against Cincinnati. Need Zeke to score this week, definitely. Not confident, probably get rolled by the Saints. if I tell you what, if you guys get rolled by the Saints, all hell is going to break loose. My high school football team is kicking butt, 57-0 second quarter. Damn. 57, and it's only the second quarter? Damn. I've got, actually next Friday night, we've got my high school's homecoming / 40th class reunion. So I'll be actually going to the game. I was watching games from 2016. The only thing the team was missing was Ferg. Yeah, we have, Ferguson is really the best tight end we've had since Jason Witten's younger days. Dak made sure of that with his contract. Saints pulled a blanket over your head and had their way. You're right about that. I can't disagree with that one. If we lose 2 in a row, Nick is fired. Mark, I watched the game against the Saints, but second half, I liked watching the live stream. I was on the road last Sunday when I went home and turned on the game and said, "Oh crap, the brothers screwed us." Yeah, that's pretty much, it was just bad. But here's the thing. I'm going to say it was my fault. I'm going to take it. Jerry, I'm going to give you your excuse, man. I didn't have my jersey. I wasn't here in the man cave, okay? All right, so maybe it was me. Maybe it was me. Now, if they get beat this week, then all bets are off. Then we got to find something new. Ferguson is physical component on the offense, and the other tight ends haven't carved out that niche yet. Ferg isn't going to help. Oh, Lordy. No, Ferguson will help. Here's the thing. That's the number 2 weapon. Ferguson, don't want to say Ferguson is like having A.J. Brown, but when you lose one of your top weapons, like the Eagles did, that's part of the problem with Jalen Hurts, is he didn't have A.J. Brown. That and the defense couldn't stop Kirk Cousins on Monday night. I have a hard time even saying that. I can't believe I'm actually saying Kirk Cousins on Monday night actually kicked somebody's ass. And Diggs, they're going to eat him alive. Big Spank Dog, have you watched Baltimore's secondary? They're not very good. I hate to tell you that. Maybe you haven't really watched Baltimore's. Their problem is their secondary. Now, the Cowboys, let's make no bones about this. This week is really big. This time, a week from now, they've got 2 games that are going to be done. They got this game against Baltimore, and then Thursday we got the Giants. If the Cowboys, worst case is you have to be 2-2. Not necessarily as bad as it could be, but you really want to be 3-1. You really want to get there with 3-1. And for the most part, the Cowboys are okay shape. Mozzie Smith was back at practice today. He's questionable. Seems like Jake Ferguson is definitely going to be playing. So we had a scare with CeeDee Lamb with his ankle, and he seems to be fine. And then, of course, there was also Diggs having a foot issue, but he seems to be fine too. Dak's going to beat the Giants 50-7. If Dak had Ferg in 2016 with the rookie Zeke in that O-line, we don't lose to Green Bay. Witten was slow. Oh, my God. Witten ended up getting 60 catches a season because everybody knew you want him to catch the ball because he's not a playmaker. Glimmerman, the schedule is funny. We get beat by the Saints, and now the Eagles have to play them after that losing week. I saw Saints secondary's week. If the Eagles beat them, we won't hear the end. I'm going to say, having been in New Orleans for a game, that crowd is hell. I've been to, I want to say, 17 different stadiums, and the only one that I can ever remember being louder was Seattle. New Orleans is a tough place to play. Is Jake going to wear a brace or something to protect the knee? I don't know for sure. I'm sure that he probably will. And Mozzie definitely needs to man up on this one. Everybody in the defensive line. Our defensive line is atrocious. We're almost as bad as the Eagles' defensive line. We don't play man. We don't play man. Everyone always backed off into zone, which I'm not a fan of. Okay. Big Spank Dog is feeling himself. Bigger disappointment, Mozzie Smith or Jordan Davis? At the moment, Marcus, I'm going to say Jordan Davis because of how much the Eagles gave up to move up to get him. And I'm not ready to go ahead and throw in the towel on Mozzie Smith. I honestly don't believe that last year they did him justice because Dan Quinn is not a big defensive tackle guy. I'm going to say that they literally have started over on Mozzie. Lamar will throw 2 picks. Close but not quit. 300 yards between Jackson and Hendry. Okay. We hear you, Big Spank Dog. And when the Cowboys win, make sure you come back. Brock Turdy, we have to beat the Saints just to see that look on your face. Good luck with that. 49ers put up 40 points in Cowboys. We showed you how to beat them. Packers put up 40. We beat them. Saints put up 40 points. Now we're going to have to show you how to beat them. All right, we'll see, Philadelphia. We'll see. But you might want to learn how to beat Kirk Cousins on Monday night. You might want to. You missed that one. Tua's typing one word at a time. He's not cooking. He won't come back. Watch the tape, and Mozzie looked like our best defensive tackle last week, which wasn't saying much. Worry about the Bengals, Spanky. Yeah. That's going to be fun Monday night. We're going to have a busy weekend here, having the Eagles at 1, our game at 4:30, and then Washington on Monday night. It will, but that's not happening. Everyone has the Saints tape, bro. If we control Lamar, we definitely win the game. Or we just outscore them. I honestly believe that the Cowboys need to score early and often so our defense can try and tee off on them. Make them one-dimensional. Make them have to pass. Washington will be humbled. I'm amazed at Washington beating the Giants, 21-18, that they're pounding their chest. Come on, dude. Come on. If Mozzie was your best D tackle, that explains why they iced Jordan Phillips. Make Lamar use his arm. That's 100% right. Philly's defense is cheeks. Saints are the hottest team in the NFL. Do the math. I can see the Saints putting up 50 on the Eagles. There would be nothing that would make me happier than to see that happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to talk smack. I'm not going to try and jinx it like the Eagle fans did. New Orleans Saints are going to lose on Sunday. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see if that happens or not. All right, good people. It is 10 o'clock already. My God, time flies. Mozzie's biggest problem is his footwork. His size worked for talent in Michigan, but Cowboys overdrafted him. Dude was at best a 4th rounder. Well, it's easy to say that right now. You could say that, Jordan Davis was, they overdrafted Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis is on a loaded defense and didn't have to be the guy because they had so many different players on there that were so good. You didn't have to be great to look great. So you could say the same thing about Jordan Davis, buddy. Nobody should pound in their chest after 2 weeks. We will see things this week that will change things. Amen on that one, Glimmer Man. All righty, good people. That's all we got for tonight. We've got our live stream, of course, tomorrow with channel members. If you're a channel member, the link will be in the description tomorrow. And we will check in with the Cowboys. Mark, you want to? Yeah, I did. I looked at that. I didn't want to trade up to get him. If he was going to fall to us at 26, hell yeah, I wanted him. I definitely wanted him. And there's a lot of guys that I may want pause on the team, and not all of them work out. If he had played like he played in college and wasn't sucking wind after 2 plays, yeah, it'd be definitely an improvement. But thus far, in Philly, man, just not working out. So good, people. As always, I appreciate it. Hawks fan, I just joined. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, Hawks fan, make sure you check out Ginger Rogers. She's one of your people, okay? She is a brand new Seahawk YouTuber, so check her out. Do you guys watch Boss Man Wan? Okay, I don't know who that is. He's a Washington fan. All right, Twiz Digga, catch you on the flip side.
I want to apologize for not being able to stream earlier today. I had a bunch of stuff come up. Hawk work. The Eagles are trying to...